Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. It is Saturday in North Carolina. It's a pretty nice day. Been a long work week, and you know what? I'm wondering what's it. Let's see. I'm wondering what the weather's like. It's 83 degrees outside. Anyways, we're gonna get right into 50/90 undervolting, and then we're gonna talk about it a little bit. So this card, first of all, it is water cooled. It is shunt mounted. It has a theoretical max power limit of 1200 watts. We're on the driver 580.88. Now we're going to show you a little bit about maybe if your card is not running the correct clock speed when you undervolt it, and we'll just get into that a little bit. So typically when I'm overclocking my card, I'm going to be maxing out these things regardless. Some 5090s may not can run 3000, but it should. I think GDDR7 is really good, and it can probably all do that. So anyways, we're jumping right in here. Typically with prior generation graphics cards, people would grab the 1 voltage point, say, hey, what am I going to run? I'm going to run 900 millivolt, and we're going to go 1000. Okay, there we go, 1000, right? Curve is flat here, but it starts to step up, so you want to just hold shift, click, right before the curve goes from being flat to angling up, okay? And you highlight all the way to the right and bring it down and hit shift. The idea is to make it all flat, okay? Now, you can see I've set 2917 at 1000. If you want to test this, watch this. Okay, we're going to hit shift L. We're going to hit apply. Card is only running 2752. Why is that? That's just kind of one of those weird things with 5090, and I want to show you how you can kind of fix this. And it's really running and highlighting more than 1 voltage point is just the idea. Okay. All right. So we know that these are more or less the card's voltage points for 2D clocks. By the way, I am recording this video with my 5090, which is why my card is idling so high and the voltage is up. But we're going to go to 850. Okay, so we're going to say from 850 to 900, my card's got an overclock. It's not going to use anything past 900, and it's not going to affect my change or affect my curve before 850 millivolt. Okay, so we're going to add 1000. Now we're going to hit apply. I'm going to go after that curve where it just starts to lift up right before, bring it down, hit apply. We're going to go to the same 900, 2917. We're going to hit shift L, apply. The card is running 2880. Okay, it's 130 megahertz faster, and it's closer to its correct clock speed as to what it should be. And we can bring these up. It's not going to do a whole lot for a card that's kind of already water cooled. Doesn't change it too much. Bring our memory up. But in game, what you're going to see here is a really good undervolt that's closer to what you've set, and the performance is going to be great. Okay. Now, I think ideal would be you want the stock clock speed to run at your undervolt. Okay, so we're going to find out what that is. That's what we're aiming to do here. My card is reset. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to leave the memory stock and everything else. So we're going to run a Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. If you want to run an undervolt, we want to run a good undervolt that's correct. So here we go. We're going to run Wu Chang. This will be at 4K. I'm pretty sure it's DLSS quality because I think it's broken. Let me make my OSD a little bigger so you can all see it a little better. Just in case. There we go. This game takes a few minutes to load, but it looks like 2850. I'm going to say 2850, 1040 millivolt is what it's looking like. And I think that's a good target, right? Just with a lot less voltage. Now, our voltage slider is on 0%. Power limit is on 100%. and the memory is not overclocked, if you increase the voltage slider or increase the power limit, it is going to increase this clock. But we're aiming for stock, okay? And we're going to do that. I'm running my pumps and fans at a very low speed. So my pumps are allowed to go down to 20%. The fans also 20%. So here we go. We are at 2865 at 1045 millivolt. Now I think it would be good to set that same millivolt at the same voltage point so we can kind of mirror the card's stock performance. Okay, so let's jump right in and let's see if we can match that. Okay. All right. So first of all, you know what? I'm not even going to touch those. We're going to go right to our graph and let's take a look. So let's go for 900. We'll start at 850. We're going to go up to 900. We're going to bring them to 1,000. Doesn't matter if you set it to 1580. It can't apply more than 1,000 here. Just so you know, our maximum can be 2920. Now we're going to grab everything after this and we're going to flatten it down. Okay. And we're running 2835. Now that's a little lower. It's close. A little lower. We want the same or better. Okay. So our card's out of room here. It's completely out of room. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Okay, my card runs 1920 megahertz at 0.900 millivolt. Now, that's what it runs. That is the stock VF curve. Now, MSI Afterburner can only apply plus 1,000. That's the most it can do. So if we add 1,000 to 1920, it's going to stop at 2920. Now, of course, we're seeing a little variation there with temperature algorithm and things like that, but it's at a limit. This is where some other cards can be beneficial over the Founders Edition because the Gigabyte Master idles 120 megahertz faster. It has a factory overclock of 120 megahertz already built in. So instead of idling 180, it idles 300. And theoretically, instead of this card running at the 1920, it's going to be 1920 plus 80, right? Which would give you, what, 3.1? Is that, wait, that's not 3.1. That's 3040 megahertz, okay? So it would actually have and almost like an extension over what this card may be. Now, you can also have different VF curves. So your card may have a higher VF curve than 1920. Mine does not. But that's just a demonstration of some variation you can see with 5090s when you're undervolting. And let's, in this case, we only have one way to fix it, and that's going to be going to the next voltage point. Because we're out of room. We are out of VF curve, so to say. So 900, 1920 plus 1,000, 2920. The good news is if you go from 900 to 905, you gain 82 megahertz. So I'm going to say that, let's say we're running, let's figure this out. So 2935, wait, 2835, 2835 plus, let's just say plus 80, that would be 2915. So technically we should be able to run 2915 at 905. We'll shoot for 2900 just to be safe, because I'm not really sure, but we're going to try, okay? So I'm going to start at 850, I'm going to highlight up to 910, and we're going to add a little more. So before it was 2920. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 60 more megahertz. So we'll do 2980. Let's try that. All right, now I'm going to grab my curve over here on the right, bring it down. Boom. Look at that. There we go. That's faster than stock already. So that's 2902 at 0.905 millivolt. That's our ticket right there. You got faster than stock, 135 millivolt less voltage, and higher clock speed. What's not to like about that? And it's killing it. It's over here killing it. You know, we're getting 340 FPS. This is an older CPU, Xeon 3175X. But hey, this GPU is going to be doing well. So it's good to think smart about our undervolts and think about what your stock VF curve is already doing versus what you may be able to do. So if that's 2902 at 0905, we can probably get more out of it. But this is an example of aiming for a undervolt that's going to be faster than stock, but also a lot less voltage than stock, and showing the actual clock speed is running at that. Okay, so we saw what the 0910 does. A good way to figure out what your card may be able to do is to follow the pattern of its stock VF curve. So we were running 2835 at 0.895. Then we stepped up to 2902 at 0.910. Probably can do a little more. Now let's look at what it does at 925. Okay, so 900. Now do the math. 1920, 2002. The card is already telling you that going from 900 to 910, it can run another 82 megahertz. Okay, now from 915 to 910, it's telling you that it can run another 90. Now I don't know. Wait, that's actually, yeah, 910 to 915. That's right. So maybe you can get even more, right? So maybe stepping to 915 can get you 2960 or 2990, right? So this will give you a rough idea of just what to follow, because the card is kind of already following this by itself out of the box. We're just altering them, you know. Now, of course, you're going to get in that situation where, you know, we're adding a lot more megahertz, right? Just because it can run 2092 at 915 and 2175 at 920 doesn't mean it can run 3 gigahertz at this speed or something like that. So it's good to test it, but not go too crazy. Okay, now let's go after maybe 925. All right, so we were running 910. Now we're going to go to 9. You know what? Let's just do the next one up. No, let's do 925. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so we'll start at 850. We're going to go up to 925. Now I'm going to try for 3 gigahertz on this one here. I'm not sure what I'll have to set it to. I'm going to say probably, let's see what 3052 does. And we will bring down this other high spot here. And so this is, that is 2962 at 920. So we need to send a little more voltage, 2970. Okay. All right. But essentially, highlighting more than one curve helps a lot. It does. And you know, this whole video is about just showing you what may work best for your 5090. Highlighting one VF curve, it doesn't really run the right clock speed. Now, you're still going to have temperature algorithm in there. So, for example, if I want to run 3 gigahertz, I'm probably going to have to run 3060. In this case, I'm also, actually, I don't even want to mess with those. Okay, so let's see here. We were at 925. Let's go to 935. So we'll do 850 to 935, and we'll try the 3060, and we'll see what the card runs at. Fix this high spot here, and it says it's running 2985, and so let's do another 15 megahertz. Okay. another 15 megahertz on this. So we're going to do 850. And we were running the 935. And I believe we had it set to 3060. So we're going to do 3075. We're going to alleviate this little high spot here. We're going to hit apply. This should get us there. We might have to tune it there. There we go. So 3 gigahertz at 930 millivolt. And this is how you overclock, undervolt your 5090. All right, so find what performance works best for you. And I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you in the next one.